Celta Vigo 2, Barcelona 4. And that match, especially in the very first half, was insanity. Believe me on this one when I was watching it. Barcelona score, Celta Vigo score. Barcelona score, Celta Vigo score. It was that back and forth continuously. And Celta Vigo in the second half, I'm going to obviously get into the match a little bit. They ran out of steam. I think Barcelona controlled the game really well. But we have some players to talk about. And the main player that I really want to talk about is Lewandowski scoring his hat-trick. But before I do that, make sure you smash a like, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel, people. As always, let's get to 20k. Just over 200 to go to that target. Amazing. And thank you much for your support. Now, Lewandowski, let's just talk about him because he got his hat-trick today. And this shows why Lewandowski is still very, very dangerous as an all-round striker, because he can get a variety of goals. The last goal he scored was with a header. First goal with a penalty. The second goal he scored, he ran onto Rashford's perfect delivered cross and literally tucked it away. First time, literally a lofted ball, and he cushioned it so well that it went past the keeper. Now, Lewandowski as a player, I would think, will go down in the last decade or so as probably one of the best all-round strikers that we have seen. Definitely that, because today was just a perfect example of what his ability can show on the pitch. He can deliver goals in all kinds of areas. And when Real Madrid as a team, for example, are looking for a target man, you have someone like, for example, Lewandowski on Barcelona that can really deliver everything. But Lewandowski, I tell you what, he was the shining light in that Barcelona team by a country mile, because his goals literally showed Barcelona how crucial he is to the team. And obviously when Rafinha comes back, that's another player that I'm looking at and seeing how crucial Rafinha is to the team as well, because especially in the very first half, second half I'm going to get to, but first half, the front line press was absolutely horrific, shocking from Barcelona. They did not have no cohesion between Yamal and Rashford, Lewandowski, the midfield, and I think that's the main reason that Celta Vigo ripped them open time and time again. That high line and how it was deployed in the very first half was disorganized, the line wasn't great, and Barcelona fans know that. They were absolutely fuming at that. I saw Papillon's stream and he was going nuts at that high line, consistently slating Flick for deploying it. But the second half comes in and they're a bit more organized. They have essentially the line in correct position. They know what they're doing and they're pressing from the front in an organized manner. That second half actually reminded me of Barcelona last season, where the frontline press was very, very organized. And you see also Balde and Eric Garcia also really pressing, really creating opportunities for Barcelona when they regain possession. That's the main thing. So when you're looking at it like this and you're saying, oh, okay, this lineup in the second half and how it is shaped up is more reminiscent of Barcelona, and that's how they should be playing. And I know they're always going to be gung-ho in terms of football and how they pass directly into space, how they can shoot from any distance. But that is obviously how Barcelona should be playing from my perspective. Now, in the first half, it was shambolic. The way that Celta Vigo had space to essentially destroy that high line, I would say, especially on the wings. And Borja Iglesias, that shot that he took from that angle was absolutely incredible. Probably the goal of the game by a country mile. Absolutely rocket past Szczesny. And those are the kind of areas where Barcelona lacked in the very first half. But second half, they didn't show that fragility that they did show in the very first. And I think a lot of the players in Barcelona, they knew that. Hansi Flick knew that. And Hansi Flick went into the dressing room in that halftime whistle and tactically adjusted to nullify anything from Celta Vigo. You saw the Highland was still there, but they were very frantic, Celta Vigo. They weren't moving as they would in the first half. And when you have that, and you have that organisation, then you can see the direction that Barcelona want to move in. And now they gained 3 points, and well, it's just 3 points behind on Real Madrid. It's literally just one game. Now, it's a different story. Because you come back from the international break, and Barcelona, I think they play Bilbao. Real Madrid play Elche away, and Real Madrid have a constant stream of away games coming back in the month of November. It's going to be another gauntlet. It's going to be another troubled time. And Barcelona have Bilbao, and they have Chelsea, of course, after that as well in the Champions League. So they have difficult games, nevertheless, but I don't think Bilbao are going to trouble Barcelona. I don't think they will. So this now could turn into a situation where Real Madrid could drop points. And the way that Real Madrid played today against Vallecano was a completely mishap. Honestly, I don't know what on earth Real Madrid were doing. But today, at least with Barcelona, and I'm going to say this now, you saw that they're still directing football. You still want to create opportunities. You still want to attack. And that is the DNA of Barcelona at the end of the day. Real Madrid's DNA is trying to maintain possession as long as we can, wait for an opening, and if we don't get an opening, then all hell breaks loose. And there's nothing at all that happens in the match. We saw against Liverpool, and we saw against Vallecano. At least Barcelona have some kind of DNA. Defensively, they're shocking. We know that. But at least in attack, you can have a sense that Barcelona are actually going to try and do something in the final third. When Real Madrid, they look like they're doing nothing in the final third. And now with Lewandowski back, and when Rafinha comes back into the affray, then you may see the old Barcelona, because the frontline press is super crucial to how Barcelona play. When teams cannot essentially maneuver the ball out of their defensive area, then they're always going to have opportunities, Barcelona. They're always going to be in certain areas where it's going to be 4 on 3s or 5 on 3s, because you see in Celta Vigo push their players up, but Barcelona regain the possession early, and now they're all guns blazing into the attacking area. So that is Barcelona in a nutshell. And that DNA is always going to remain there. Always. So honestly, from the actual statistics today, you've seen that Barcelona today, from looking at it, clear possession, clear line share of possession, expected goals 3.18. You've seen that they were consistently trying to build up the attack. They were consistently trying to work their way into the box. And that is essentially what Barcelona do all the time. They have 21 shots in total. And when you look at the momentum graph here, just above me, you see that it is majority Barcelona. Celta Vigo, these periods here, usually counter-attacking opportunities, but very limited. Barcelona maintained a lot of the string of possession, a lot of control in the game. And then the second half, you saw that once again, especially with the goal. And with Yamal's goal as well, obviously with that ball fizzed into the box from Rashford, and then Yamal shooting it past their keeper. I mean, the keeper had a shocking game in Celta Vigo's case, because he couldn't say nothing. But it doesn't matter. When you're getting annihilated and you're literally right in front, and Barcelona had a few chances to hit the post also, ricocheted out, Lewandowski had the follow-up. There were so many opportunities for Barcelona to win the game. And it was just a matter of time before Celta Vigo completely caved in. And that was obviously the Lewandowski header from the corner. So if you look at the lineup itself, I would agree, of course, with Lewandowski. He's definitely man of that match. He did get a hat-trick. He was in the right areas at the right time, all the time, and he definitely deserved it. Rashford, obviously, his assists, very, very good. And we've seen it time and time again that Rashford is actually pulling certain things out of his bag, in his locker, to help Barcelona progress. And when he does that and he's on this kind of form, then I want to say there's nothing stopping him, but I think he can be a crucial player. But when Rafinha comes back, Rashford definitely would drop out. But you never know. You never know with Hansi Flick and how he's feeling. Lamine Yamal had a decent enough game. He got his goal, but unfortunately for Barcelona, he's still not at his best. He's definitely not at his best. And I definitely see that from the pitch and how he's moving, how he's maneuvering in the centre of the park. The midfield were pretty awful. They allowed Celta Vigo to run through them, and it wasn't that great. It was no cohesion in the midfield. Dani Olmo was a bit decent, but I tell you what, De Jong, his red card at the end, look, that is a very crucial miss, because now probably I'm looking at Barcelona playing probably Bernal in the midfield, and maybe that will give them the sense of stability as well. So Olmo, Lopez, Bernal, maybe. We'll see what Hansi Flick decides to do with Bilbao after that. But ultimately, look, Barcelona, they were in complete control of the game. We've seen it, obviously, in the statistics. And when you look at it overall, just here on top, you see, obviously, expected goals from open play, expected goals from set plays. Not that much, because, obviously, it was essentially that corner that led to Lewandowski's goal. But when you just see how dominating they are in the attacking end against a team like Celta Vigo, they would definitely offer a lot. And they did offer a lot today, because it was just evident. And look, 9 shots on target, they're going to score goals. It's factual. 9 shots on target, you can see here, they're going to definitely score goals. It is a no-brainer. But you just need, essentially, I think, Rafinha to come back for Barcelona to really kick into their rhythm. Because, like I said, that front-end press is so, so crucial. And with shots inside the box, shots outside the box, they had a plethora of shots that were just waiting to be tapped in or put past the keeper, because the keeper was having a shocker. So in those kind of games, you just look at it and say, okay, can I literally shoot from outside the box? Can I go inside the box as well? And Barcelona had a string of different areas where they could shoot from, and overall, they definitely deserved the game, absolutely, because Celta Vigo, they just relied on their counter-attacking abilities, were great, but unfortunately, they did not produce much else. And look, interceptions, Celta Vigo obviously won the flying share because Barcelona were playing through. But when I mentioned in the very first half that Barcelona passing was inaccurate, they were not cohesive enough, that was the problem. They were conceding too many turnovers in possession, allowing Celta Vigo to run in the opposite direction and score. That was the main problem. And they ironed it out in definitely the second half. If you look at the second half here, they ironed it out completely. They didn't allow anything to go in the opposite direction, because Barcelona weren't really making too many tackles, too many errors. They were passing the ball around better, and it showed obviously where they were just a bit more together in unison. They didn't have many attacking opportunities, essentially, but what they did was maintain the ball possession, get the goal, and just completely just dominate from there on in. But look, I tell you what, Barcelona, they definitely deserve it. We know they did. And look, from the whole team, Balde, look, sometimes he makes critical errors at certain times. He's bombing up the pitch. You see Eric Garcia. I think this 2 centre-back pairing is better than, I would say, Araujo, Eric Garcia, and Koundé, obviously, because Koundé's out. I think the back four, this back four, is a bit more solid. I think Koundé is not right there in terms of his playing style and what he's delivering this season. I don't think he's actually playing the best. But Eric Garcia has probably been the best defender this season for Barcelona, we have to say. And he deserves, obviously, decent praise today. Balde was consistently making overlap runs, but when you see in the end, and you see in Celta Vigo, especially in the very first half, a lot of the actual attacks that were actually built up by Celta Vigo, from the likes of Iglesias, from the likes of Jultla, all these different players, they actually were built up on the right-hand side. And the goal as well, obviously, I know the way that Celta Vigo were absolutely cooking Barcelona in the counter-attack was second nature to them. But second half, didn't see any of that. So, guys, honestly, it was a very decent game from Barcelona, especially second half. They just controlled the game. But first half, they were just ruthless in terms of front of the goal. But in defense, they lacked. And this game here, obviously, we have to see how they're going to go into the next game against Bilbao after the international break and see where they go from there. But, guys, that is obviously the roundup today. Make sure you like this video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time on another video. Take care, guys, and it's been Barcelona 2, well, Celta Vigo 2 and Barcelona 4. Take care.